Hi guys, this is Vlad from Ausgeknipst, and in today's short video manual I will show you how you can use your Canon AL-1, a very affordable alternative to the very similar and popular Canon AE-1. You could call it a sleeper camera as it offers much of the same functionality of the AE-1 for a fraction of the price. But let's address the elephant in the room first. As you can see, I have this beautiful rubber band alongside my Canon AL-1, and that's because, as you may or may not have already found out, the battery door on those AL-1s are notoriously breaking. They're even worse than those on the AE-1 or A1s. And while we're already working on a spare part, right now the only alternative I have to show you how you can use your AL-1 is using this ugly rubber band, which will hold two AAA batteries that you need for the camera's operation. Basically, you just insert them right inside there. Two AAA batteries, household batteries, very easy to afford. If your battery door is broken, use some rubber band or fix it with some tape. For now, as I told you, we're already working on a solution. Subscribe to our newsletter in the shop if you want to keep updated. For the structure of the video, I'll show you what lenses to use with the camera and how to attach them, what all the buttons and dials on the camera mean and work, how to load the film in the back of the camera, how to compose your image and set correct exposure while looking through the viewfinder, how to focus with those manual focus lenses, and the very unique quick focus system of the AL-1 QF, as it's also called, how to take a photo, and how to rewind and unload your film at the end. So, after you have inserted the battery, you'll need to attach a lens. The camera, as the AE-1 and all the A-line cameras, uses Canon FD and FD lenses like this one. To attach the lens, align red dots on the top and twist the lens to the right until it clicks. So, the lens itself, all the Canon FD lenses will have an aperture dial where you can adjust the opening of the camera's aperture and a manual focus with some printed numbers which will show you the distance scale for manual focus with zone focusing. On the right side of the camera we have here the lens unlock button. To unlock the lens, just press it and turn the lens counterclockwise. Then we have a meter activation button here that basically functions as the same as a shutter half press would. We have the rewind button at the top here, a battery check button here. We have the ISO dial, which you need to unlock by pressing this little silver button here and twist the little dial, the black one here. We have a hot shoe for use of flash, a shutter speed dial with manual shutter speeds from a fast 1/1000th of a second down to a 1/15th of a second, and bulb mode. No slow manual shutter speeds on this camera. However, if you use the camera in auto mode, it will also use slower shutter speeds than those indicated on the manual shutter speed selector dial here. We have the mode dial here, so to turn the camera on, you need to twist it to the A position or lock it to L, or you can also use the self timer here S. I'll put it to A now. We have the shutter advance and obviously the shutter button up top here. Half press of the shutter button activates the light meter. that's it for the camera. Now, before we load the film and look through the viewfinder, that's always a good point in time to check the light seals and the mirror damper. As you see on this one, haven't had time to replace the light seals yet, so the mirror damper is in pretty bad shape, and all this deteriorated foam material could fall inside the mirror chamber when you use the camera and could damage the inside of the camera and obstruct view. So if you buy a camera like this one used, always check the light seals and the mirror damper. If they're broken down, replace them. We have light seal kits in our shop, so check out the link in the description if you're interested in buying those. The light seal on the hinge here is usually in good shape, as it uses another foam, as well as those little strips alongside the back door. However, you still will have to replace the thin seals alongside top and bottom of the back of the body inside those grooves here. To load the film, we'll have a Fomapan 400 ISO 24 exposures film here, 35mm standard film. Let's set the ISO first, so we don't forget it. It's a 400 ISO, so I press this little silver button here and set the ISO to 400 like this. Now the camera's exposure meter knows what film is inside the camera. Put the film inside here, beneath the rewind knob, pull the film alongside the shutter and fiddle it inside this little slit inside the take-up spool like this. Now hold the film slightly in place with the right thumb. Advance the shutter slowly, make sure that the film doesn't slip out of the take-up spool. Press the release. Now like this, advance one more time, 2 times should be enough, and close the back door again. Now my rubber band, need to fix it again. Pretty janky design, but I mean, for this demo it works, so I guess it's fine. If you're interested in a replacement battery door for your AL-1, please leave a comment in the comment section below, so we know that there is demand, because it doesn't seem that lots of people are interested in replacing their battery doors. At least nobody has written us so far. Okay, now the interesting part with this camera is that it has a aperture priority mode, which means that you set the camera to the red A mode here, and then you manually set the aperture on the aperture dial on the lens, and the camera will select a proper shutter speed for correct exposure of the image. This is very nice. You can also use the camera in full manual mode with the shutter speeds provided here, so I could set aperture and shutter speed manually, like with the AE1. So this is something that makes it even better than, for example, the AV1, which only has the aperture priority mode, but no manual shutter speeds. So we've inserted the film. Let me advance it a couple more times. You can see that you've loaded the film properly when the rewind knob turns together with the film advance, as it does. You have a film counter here in the little window. Now it's set to 1. Now I know that I still have 23 exposures left on this 24 exposure film. When we finished loading the camera, we have a lens on and we have a fresh battery inside. It's time to take a look inside the viewfinder to compose and expose our image correctly. So the AL-1 has, as you can see here, a needle indicator which will show you the shutter speed you've either selected manually on the shutter speed dial, or if set to A, it will show you the shutter speed that the camera chooses when I set the aperture manually. Like that, basically nothing wrong you can do. Now the most interesting part with this camera is that it has a focus assist, which means that if I turn the lens now to focus on that camera in front of me and half press the shutter button, the camera will show me through those little red arrows at the bottom of the viewfinder how much I have to turn the lens to get the proper focus. So right now it tells me I have to turn it, and when it's turning green, let me see if I can get it in focus. So if I'm reaching the close focus distance here, now it's somewhere here in the middle. When it's green, I know that the camera in front of me is in focus. So nice feature, especially for those of you who have glasses or impaired vision in some cases. That's it. So you basically focus and camera's doing the exposure for you. When you finish shooting your roll, you have to rewind the film. To do so, press the button on the bottom of the camera here, unlock the rewind, pull up the rewind lever and rotate it in the direction of this little arrow indicator clockwise until you don't feel any resistance from the film. You can even hear it slipping out of the take-up spool. When I hear it, I can open up the back door, and now I can drop the film off at my favorite lab or develop it myself. That's it for the AL-1. If you have any questions or are interested in purchasing a spare battery door, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.